Welcome, Chandler. Thank you for joining us again this morning. This is our regular Thursday morning, 10 a.m. series to bring you your business resources, what you need to hear about. Today, I am really excited. We have some great presenters for you. Today's program, again, is brought to you in part by the City of Chandler's Industrial Development Authority. I'm Terry Kimball, and we've got two of our speakers with Concept to Completion. I'll introduce them in a minute. I also want to do a shout out to Paula Whittakin. She is with the Small Business Development Center, Maricopa Small Business Development Center. She is here every week with us talking about finances and how to get you money for your businesses during these times. So we're going to hear from Paula as well. So in the spirit of keeping things moving, I want to introduce Mark Stewart. Mark is a student of consumer behavior and enjoys helping business owners and entrepreneurs find success. Mark has over 25 years of experience as a Fortune 50 leader through founding his own businesses. Mark has launched multiple brands from scratch and has either founded or co-founded 3 startups in electronics, sporting goods, and general consumer goods. Mark has an intimate understanding of marketing in the modern age. And I'll tell you, he's constantly being sought out as guest speakers and just for his knowledge and his expertise. So we're really excited about that. He has experience in retailers like Target, Walgreens, Walmart, Canadian Tire, Amazon, and he can provide us with insight into common marketing and retail strategies. He is an elected member of the City of Chandler City Council and represents the Job Creators Network here in Arizona as the Arizona State Ambassador. So Mark, great and glad to have you here again with us today. With you with Concept to Completion is Jillian Grammer. And Jillian helps small businesses grow a strong online presence that targets audiences who convert. She is committed to communicating a brand's unique value and story through organic and paid strategies. As a marketing content manager for Concept to Completion, she is responsible for internal and external marketing. And she creates and executes and delivers marketing for the Concept to Completion clients, including but not limited to social media, email, marketing, creative design, blog, video development, content creation, Google AdWords, Facebook ads, you name it. If she doesn't know it, she's going to find out about it. So welcome, Jillian, as well. So thank you both for joining us. You know, you're one of our most popular set of speakers because people today in today's modern world, we want to know about marketing. So tell me about this cocktail party.
Yeah, well, that's a great lead in. And thanks for the kind words, Terry. We're just grateful for everything that you're doing in Chandler and for that matter, in the whole East Valley. I think what is happening with the coronavirus pandemic and the challenges that our small businesses and every business is facing, you've become a real resource for our community to go to, especially early on when nobody knew what was going to happen as it relates to the PPP money. You became a resource for that, for the city as well. And so we're grateful for that. And if we can offer any type of information to our community on how to make themselves a little bit more relevant online, we're here to help you and help them as well. So, I think, what do they say? The rising tide raises all boats. And so if we can all grab hands together and do good things, I think we can get out of this in a good way. So thanks so much for having me today. Yeah.
Great.
So Jillian, are you going to run the slides for us?
Yes, I can share.
Fantastic. So today's topic, if everybody that's online here signed up, today's topic is kind of a fun topic, but it's about treating social media like a cocktail party. And I think most of us know that, we've met that person at a cocktail party that does nothing but talk about themselves. And sometimes that's the first person you want to get over to the hors d'oeuvre tray as fast as you can so that you can get away from them. We want to make sure that your social media and the activity that you provide, or the activity that you have on social media, you're not always talking about you. Actually, you want to talk about them, and you want to create content that brings them in and makes you feel like you care about them. So we're going to go through some slides. We're going to talk about Pinterest. We're going to talk about Facebook. We're going to talk about a number of different topics. And at the end of this, hopefully you'll have a better understanding of kind of how to project your brand and how to project what you do for a living to your customers and prospects even, so that they connect with you in a fun way, in a way that really builds your brand in a spirited way without you selling them all the time. And so I see this a lot. I see small business owners that, they're do-it-yourselfers. They do the payroll, they do the HR, they do the customer service, and they try to run their social media. And most of them do an adequate job, but I always see them fall into that desperation mode where they're continually trying to sell on Facebook. And what they'll find is that people will stop following them, or they'll just, if they're friends of yours, they'll unfollow, they'll still like your page, but your content won't reach them any longer. And that's a way you can look at that on analytics. So what we want to do is tell you how to, one, maximize your storytelling so that people are connect with you and learn about you without being overwhelmed with a sales pitch. So I'm going to let Jillian kind of take the next few slides. She's going to talk a lot about specific channels, which is Facebook and some things like that, and how to be successful on each one of those platforms. So Jillian, take it away.
All righty. So first, it's important to note that every platform is different, meaning the user demographics are different, the type of content you'll post on each platform is different, how often you post, your voice, etc. So not every business needs to be on every single one of these platforms. It's all about finding which one works best for you and makes sense for your audience that you're trying to reach. My personal advice, especially if you're a one-person show running your business's social media, is to focus on 2 to 3 of these platforms that make sense for your industry and do it well instead of trying to be on every single one and spreading yourself thin. So to begin our discussion, we are going to take a look at consumer behavior. This is important because it lets us know what the consumer wants to see from the brand, which in turn will help you with your messaging and creating that content. So I know this looks like a lot, and it is a lot, but it's important because, like I said, it really gives you that consumer insight. So starting over here on the left-hand side, when consumers were asked what they want from a brand, they answered, and by the way, this is just in general, this is not just on social media. You'll see that consumers want a brand to be positive contributors to the society, connect with their consumers, use their power to help people, bring people together toward a common goal, and so on. But the one I really want to focus on here is connecting with that consumer, because if you look over here on the right-hand side, the main tool that consumers ranked that you can use to create that connection is social media. So why is this important? Why does creating a connection matter? What does it do for your brand? Well, the consumer is 76% more likely to buy your product or service over a competitor. They're 68% more likely to recommend your brand to a friend, 64% more likely to be loyal to your brand or business. Now, let's look at what or how to make that connection with the consumer, what the consumer wants to see from you online. They want you to respond to comments online. They want you to show your brand personality. They want you to support a cause the consumer personally supports, participate in relevant conversations, highlight industry or category trends. Now let's look at what the brand voice the consumer wants to see from a brand online. Consumers ranked being honest the highest, then friendly, helpful, funny. Something I want to note is that consumers have yet to mention so far that they want a business to be salesy. And that is important to realize because social media is just one tool in your overall marketing strategy. For a lot of brands, it's mainly used to build awareness. Yes, you can still have success with conversions, especially if you're actually selling online and you have an online store. But year after year, study after study shows that marketers are mainly using social media, and you'll see over here, to build that brand awareness. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're creating content. Yes, you can still post your sales and specials and about a new product or service because the consumer does want to hear about that. But just try putting yourself in the shoes of the consumer and ask yourself, why would I want to follow this business online? Especially if they're only ever posting when it comes to asking for a sale. So there are many different types of content you can post besides that salesy post. This is a common strategy marketers use, 4 types of content to post. We'll go into detail of each one here. So starting on the left-hand side, entertaining content. This is your fun and national holidays, viral videos, jokes and memes, contests and giveaways, even a Throwback Thursday is a fun post. Then we have educational content. So this is tips and tricks, answers to frequently asked questions, industry research, blog posts, case studies, free resources, live video trainings, and infographics. Then we can move over here to inspirational content. We have quotes, facts and trivia, beautiful images that are inspiring, personal stories to your clients. This is your 5-star reviews. You want to share those. Then we have conversational content. So questions, fill in the blank, ask for advice, caption this photo. That's a popular one, and polls. Something I want to note. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, well, I want to interject real quick here. So there's a psychological aspect to content and content creation. That's why on the back page here, which is, I should have wrote it backwards, but it says content, content, content. What's happening is when somebody engages with any type of social media, there's a psychological, there's a dopamine release, there's something that they're feeling good about when they're consuming content. All of these 4 types of content post that Jillian outlined here are ways to reach that and give people a good feeling about your brand. And so if you look to the last slide, social media is not necessarily about conversion, getting a sale. It's about creating brand awareness and creating that halo effect about your brand where people feel good about the content that you're putting out. So when you're sharing tips and tricks, or you're giving contests away, or just great inspirational stories, or just an image that you pulled off of Pinterest or something like that, and you shared on Facebook about connecting your brand with a good feeling, that's the goal of creating content to post, is just give, and keep on giving to your followers and to your prospects. It will come back to you. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about intertwining all these different types of content with that salesy post. 45% of consumers unfollow brands because of irrelevant content or too many ads. So just something to keep in mind. All right, let's put these types of content into action. Over here, we have Dogtopia. I just want to give them a shout out. I think they have great social media presence. Here's an entertaining post they did. This dog post went viral. It's like dog dancing. And they said, the feeling you get when your mom says you're going to daycare. So just a fun, entertaining post. This is an inspirational piece of content. They do a dog of the week post, and they share how they're doing at Dogtopia, their good behaviors, and that's inspiring. The dog owners want to see that type of content. Here's a conversational piece of content we did for one of our clients, New Square Chandler. This was in promotion for the distillery. So we took the 4 popular menu items and we asked people, which would you like to eat? Which would you prefer? And we gave them the A, B, C, or D option. And that's another note I want to make. When you're asking people to respond, you're asking them to engage, make it easy for them. Give them the answers. A lot of people are scared to comment because they don't want to comment something wrong. So by giving them the A, B, C, or D option, it makes it really easy for them.
And hey, just real quick too, the cool part about this post particular, it's a fun interactive game for people to play, but talk about some amazing brand awareness that you're able to share food stories. And foodies especially love this stuff. They love to see pictures of your food, and they have to be good pictures. They have to be glamour shots. I mean, if you're not good at taking pictures, it's better to find somebody in your staff that does, or to find somebody that has a good camera that can upload images. But that organic reach of 4,500 people, that New Square Chandler, now it started we started building their brand a while back, but they have only 550 followers, and that's growing quickly. But the different eyeballs that they reached outside their followers of 601 engagements, that's more engagements than they have followers. That's because the content is amazing and it's fun, and we're not selling a thing. We're just saying, which one would you want to eat? And I picked B. So go ahead.
And then over here, we have an educational piece of content. So this is another one of our clients, Nornsmount Orthodontics. We asked, ever wonder how braces are applied? Check this out. And we show a time-lapse video of the braces application process.
In 43 seconds too. It was amazing. And so that actually has over 70,000 views on YouTube. And so the brand awareness, and there are people that are converting with that video because they can see how it works. And it's really targeted at people that are interested in getting their teeth fixed or whatever it may be. That's been amazing to me, is how many people have seen the video and then converted into a lead for this particular client. They actually fill out a form and say, hey, can you contact me? Or they make a phone call. It's pretty fun. Sorry, Jillian, go ahead.
So now we're going to take a deep dive into each one of the platforms. We're going to start here with Facebook. So like the title of this session, Facebook is a cocktail party. Ask people about their favorite subject. The keyword here is them. Ask them about their favorite subject. Only talk about work if they ask you first. So what type of content should you post on Facebook? Well, a BuzzSumo study that analyzed over 777 million Facebook posts found that videos perform the best on Facebook, and that they get us 59% more engagement than an image. And especially a 3-minute video looks really good in Facebook's eyes. Now let's look at the common reactions that people are giving on the videos and that on posts. And this is not a like, this is like those fun emojis over here that you can use for the reactions. You can people are giving a love and a haha the most. Those are the most common reactions. So what does that tell us? People are engaging with content that they love and that they think are funny on social media, or on Facebook. So something to keep in mind when you're creating content for Facebook is that's what people are engaging with.
Oh. Can you hear me? Oh no, my internet. Can you hear me? I can't, hold on. I don't know if that's me or, hello? All right, you guys can hear me? All right, I think Jillian's internet might be struggling here, so maybe she will be able to catch up. I'm not sure. She might just have to change browsers. I'll send her can somebody send her a text real quick or let her know? Well, okay, you can hear me. I'm gonna have to, okay, we'll wait for Jillian to pop back in because she's controlling the presentation. But the next part of the presentation, we're gonna talk a little bit about Twitter. And Twitter is a fascinating social media tool that people are using for brand awareness and for sharing thought leadership about certain subjects. And so I like to say that tweeting, being on Twitter, is shouting out the window about what you think and people driving by. Some people listen and some people will shout back. And anytime you retweet, it's a shouting out the window exactly what someone else shouted. Tweeting is a fun way to sort of be a thought leader and get your ideas out in the marketplace. It's also a great idea for businesses that are in the right space to go ahead and tweet expertise about their subject matter. So if you're an attorney, you definitely want to be on Twitter commenting about things that are attorney related or legal related. Give your opinions about certain things and let people know that you're an expert. You obviously want to be conscious about the things that you post. You don't want to wade, if you're a business, you don't want to wade into political stuff. I mean, 50% of the people think about one thing that 50% of the people don't. And so you want to be safe in that regard, and you just want to stay focused on business, focused on fun, and those kind of things. 33% of Twitter followers follow a brand. You don't have to tweet all the time to be successful. You just need to tweet every now and again. It's also good for your SEO, which is your search engine optimization. And so maybe, hey, Terry, maybe, oh no, Carly's gone. I was going to say, maybe I could figure out.
We're working on getting you the PowerPoint because
Why don't I do
Jillian has
this?
it.
I think I can share my presentation. Can you guys see this?
You can.
Hey, look at me.
She taught you well, Mark. So I do have a question while you're getting that up. On Twitter, you're muted, Mark. On Twitter, how many hashtags should you have?
1 to 2, sometimes 3. I do 4 a lot, but hashtags is the key to finding new eyeballs because people tend to follow hashtags or interact with hashtags on Twitter that they find interesting. And so you want to be using hashtags and you want to be conversational in your tweets, right? You want to share a thought leadership position and you want to be able to interact with people that tweet back with you, especially if you're a business owner. If you definitely want to use pictures, you don't want to just write words. Engagement is 200% higher for tweets with an image link. I like to use GIFs sometimes, GIFs, which is an active tweet that shows like a picture, especially if I'm being snarky, and I don't mean snarky in a bad way, but if I'm just trying to be funny, I'll use a GIF that kind of connects with the tweet that I'm putting out. The other thing is ask a question on Twitter. You're going to get a lot more engagement in that regard. And then, I think one of the biggest things is that if you do less than 100 characters, not the 140, but if you do less, there's 17% higher engagement. The reason for that is because people can see it on their phones without having to use their finger to scroll or to have to open up the tweet a little bit longer. Twitter's fun. If you're on Twitter, that's great. You should definitely use images if you're on there. It's good for SEO. You can elevate your overall reach on Google. Google's going to scroll Twitter for hashtags that have to do with your business. So you want to be doing that. It's important. Instagram is I think Instagram for that 25 to 45-year-old is one of the most popular platforms right now. And I think it's amazing for business because it's such a passive way to, remember earlier in the presentation, it's a passive way to create brand awareness for your brand. Remember, social media is about awareness. And if you get engagement and you get conversion, that's a bonus. So use Instagram to create images and videos that people can connect with and look at real quick. Now, keep in mind, your engagement on Facebook is going to be a lot higher than it will be necessarily on Instagram as far as like time that people spend on the actual page and maybe even a link through. But if you get somebody to look at a picture that you put up on some content that you put up on Instagram and they actually go to your profile, that's as good as them going to your website because they're genuinely interested in your business. And what they do when they go to your profile is they look at more of your content. So making sure your wall is dialed in and it looks nice and not hodgepodge is important. You want to use carousels and videos. Those events will create more engagement. They're going to create more affinity to your brand, and people are going to look at you as a more professional brand. If you use lots of pictures and give people a glimpse into the back room of what you're doing in your daily business. So using Instagram to take a picture of the back room of, I'll just say for the Chamber of Commerce, to just walk around one day and say, this is what the people are doing. We're working on this, we're doing that, we're doing this. Give people a glimpse into what you do on your daily life and do that every month or so. People are more likely to connect with you. Give them the behind the scenes, especially give them inspiring quotes. How-to tips and tricks. If you run a restaurant or if you are a print company or something like that, give your intellectual property away, assert yourself as an expert in that space because ultimately they're going to think about you when they actually need something to be done professionally. So don't be afraid to do that. Back in the day when Facebook was coming online, everybody's real protective of their intellectual property. We live in a world today, it's open source. You've all heard the term open source. Open source wins on social media. Give your intellectual property away. Trust me, it'll bounce back and it'll come back to you. And don't be afraid to share your community involvement. That doesn't mean taking pictures of you doing charitable work. It means sharing pictures of your team being involved in the community and doing things like that, and stay on top of Instagram with Instagram TV and Reels. And that's basically creating video content that people can watch when they're watching Reels on Instagram. Instagram is an ever evolving platform. They're investing more in, I think, in Instagram and new product than they are in Facebook. And obviously, you know, Mark Zuckerberg owns both. The next one is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, you have to be careful. So everything we were talking about before is content driven, pretty pictures, fun, whimsical, brand connection type stuff. LinkedIn is your personal way to present yourself in a professional manner, not just your business, but you as a business owner need to have a LinkedIn presence. But LinkedIn is not a place for glamour shots. It's not a place for fun necessarily. It's a virtual trade show. You want to put your best foot forward. You kind of want to have your brand in the background, but this is about you. Look around, engage in posts that are in your space that you have expertise on. Always be positive. Always communicate about things in a business manner, and show confidence and network with folks. It's okay on LinkedIn to network with folks. It's not okay to network from a social perspective. So look at LinkedIn as like from a cocktail perspective. This is a business meeting. You're walking in, you might be having a lunch meeting. You're there to eat, you're there to hang out, but you're there to talk about business all the time. So no politics, no family pictures, clearly no glamour shots, but the big thing is be boring on this one. Give content out, give infographics and things like that if you run your own business page, and share things about job and career info. It's a place to find company news, share infographics about that, and professional content is super important. I'll tell you, LinkedIn from a trust perspective is the second most favorable content channel for sharing business related content. Obviously with the first being email. And we don't get into email blasts on this particular presentation, but LinkedIn is certainly a place where you need to live and you need to be professional. The others, and so, you know, Pinterest is one of those channels that I think is you're basically sharing everything you possibly can. You can post up to 5 times a day. The great thing about Pinterest is that it lasts 1,600 times longer on a page than it does on Facebook. So people that look for particular hashtags, or they're looking for, let's say, a remodel for their bathroom, the content that you put out for that will be up there forever, and people can connect with that. And the great thing about Pinterest is when somebody's on it, they usually spend 15 to 20 minutes at a time pinning content that could come directly from you. So if you have a business that could fit within the Pinterest sort of genre, whether that's crafts, maybe even foodie kind of stuff. If you're a restaurant, believe it or not, putting like those, remember those pictures we just showed of distillery? Those would fit on Pinterest if you gave the recipe along with it. And I know restaurateurs are very reluctant to give away recipes, but it's not a bad thing to do. As I said, we're open source and people will appreciate that. Now, if you have something super proprietary, you probably don't want to do that. Design images for the proper size for Pinterest, create and pin Pinterest items with text, and then write keyword rich descriptions on the boards. And you're going to use hashtags as well. The biggest trend right now, folks, is TikTok. TikTok is booming with all age groups, from 15-year-olds to 75-year-olds. TikTok is hot and it's blowing up. And there's all kinds, it's so new. I don't have a lot to give you other than create content and deliver content to the page if you can. And that's any kind of video. We have one of our clients creates videos in the office, and we're starting to put those up on TikTok. TikTok's offering $300 of free advertising right now, and up to another $2,300 of matching advertising. So you can reach an entirely new audience with the right videography for TikTok. And the great thing about TikTok, it's about a minute or less. You know, you can get your brand awareness out there and do great things, and it's all user generated. This is a great tool for behind the scenes activity where you're doing something fun within the kitchen, or you're doing something fun within the legal office or the orthodontic office or whatever that may be. You want to definitely be creating a TikTok account and getting moving on that. So The other thing is, if you are targeting age groups between 13 and 25, you want to look at building content and fun content around Snapchat. They are doing advertising, and it's starting to take off. So they'll just get smushed in between stories on Snapchat, and every kid has Snapchat now. And it's all about being authentic and not picture perfect. So having fun content, showing behind the scenes, showing off your products, and doing takeovers, bloopers, if you will. People want to see that too. And then you can design a sponsored geo filter. So you could have somebody use your filter. If you're in a community giving sort of spirit, you might get kids to use your filter for free for your business. So that is the gist of the platforms. But I want to leave you with this, and going back to the cocktail party theme. When you walk into any sort of social situation, the first thing you want to do is you want to give people information. You want to introduce yourself, and you want to start asking them about them. What that will do is that will give you an insight into what they're interested in. So just like any party, if you ask, it's how to win friends and influence people. I forget who wrote that book, but if you ask people what they think about themselves or what they think about your business, they'll lead you to some really good information, and you'll be able to craft your discussion on Facebook or on LinkedIn around what they're interested in. And it's super important. It's a great way to social listen to about your business. So you can learn how to promote your business without talking about it. You can find content that your followers want to see by giving out things. You'll see what people engage with more often. And then you can always come back to it, do something similar, or do the same post 90 days later. Make sure you never ask for business. Don't sell online. So many people try to do that, and it just turns people off. And when you're getting ready to post, ask yourself what your motivation for that post is. Is it for you, or is it for them? If it's for them, right? If your question is because you're genuinely interested in them, and you're putting out content to help them, then you're putting up the right stuff. And become a thought leader in your space about social media, or through social media. Share information that you're an expert in, and don't be afraid that you're sharing intellectual property that somebody's going to steal. As a small business owner, a medium, whatever, it is hard as heck to get a business started. Nobody's going to steal your idea. Just go ahead and share it and be trustworthy. Trustworthiness on social media is the key. So that is our presentation for, whoop, I lost it. That's kind of our presentation in a nutshell. So we're going to open it up to questions. Terry, do you have?
We got lots of questions.
Oh, gosh.
All right.
Did Jillian make it back in?
She did.
I'm here.
My wubby.
She did. Okay, let's start. The first one was, oh boy, I hope they can tell me. The first one is, please explain caption with this photo. It must have been, so whoever put that, if you could please put in the chat box which particular photo, and we will get back to that.
I think I know.
Go ahead.
There was one of the examples of, I think, a conversational piece of content you could post is writing caption this photo. So you could do like a funny post, and by asking people to caption this photo and seeing who comes up with like the best, funniest caption, like that starts a conversation.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one. Mark and Jillian, we are a Chandler software startup. Building next generation loyalty applications. What are some tips for B2B social media strategies, since we primarily try to sell to other businesses instead of consumers?
B2B marketing strategies when you're trying to sell to other businesses. Did I say that right? You're a B2B business, and you want to create brand awareness for your company as a startup, correct?
Correct.
All right. So this is what first you have to understand who your customer is, right? You get a whiteboard, you write out who your biggest targets are. This is what I would do. You write out who your biggest targets are, and you decide what content they would like to consume. I think I would target LinkedIn would be a key. You can use hashtags for your industry that they might be in. I think email marketing would be an important avenue for you to work in. But in brand awareness, if you're doing good community things, and I know as a startup, you don't have that much manpower to be doing community events, but it's okay to start sharing that content on Instagram and Facebook. But you certainly want to be on all those platforms. You definitely want to have a Google My Business page and some things like that. But you want to create, when you're in your infancy, you need to create a digital platform or a digital footprint. You got to build the base. You've got to get all those platforms dialed in. They need to all look the same. They need to all be branded, and they need to be ready. And what you'll find over time is that if you're using those tools to create awareness, overall, your general awareness is going to increase, and people are going to convert later on, or they're going to engage or interact with your brand.
Okay.
Digital media is a super important place to be within any business. You have to be online, because the first thing people do, and you also need a website that isn't just a big information dump, but actually can communicate with people in real time, so they can connect with you, fill out a form, or chat with you online. Your landing page has to be solid. Jillian, do you have anything on that?
I would definitely say yes, LinkedIn, if you're trying to reach business owners, that's where business owners hang out. So that's where I would target.
Great. All right, next question. Is Parler a new platform for businesses to consider?
So Parler is the free speech version of Twitter. So a lot of folks were frustrated with Twitter's sort of handling of this election and sort of being selective in who they sort of turned down and who they turned up. But you have to be a lot more cognizant of doing your own fact checking on Parler. But Parler is just another version of Twitter. It's shouting out the window and hoping somebody's listening. We've seen an exodus from Twitter to Parler because it claims to be a more free speech friendly area. But you want to be careful. I don't think Parler is a place for kids because the free speech aspect, it's not as curated content as maybe Twitter is. But at least that what's being put out there is not being controlled, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what Parler is.
Okay. I'm a medical doctor and a specialist in a vascular area that generally affects patients that are over 50 years old and generally between 60 and 90 years old. How does social media affect this age group, and what is the best media source to connect with patients of this age?
I know the answer to this. Jillian, do you want to go take a shot at it? I'll go.
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
Well, that age demographic, I would say Facebook. I would say that's where they hang out. So I would try on there and see what happens.
Yeah. Jillian's 100% right. Get on Facebook. There's still the fastest growing demographic on Facebook is senior citizens. They are growing faster than any other platform within that age group. The great thing about what you asked is that you're thinking about it the right way already. You want to provide content to help them. That's content that they will consume. And you can reach folks that way easily. You can micro target on Facebook and to only reach 50 and over. There's all kinds of things you can do like that, which saves you money if you decide to boost content. And trust me, boosting $20 a month or $100 a month is worth every single penny to build your brand awareness because there's a halo effect that comes from that that you can't even measure. So I would certainly be looking on Facebook, and believe it or not, Instagram and TikTok. Old folks are jumping on TikTok too. It's the number one downloaded for the last 2 years, the number one downloaded app.
All right. What is the demographic for Pinterest and TikTok?
Jillian's the expert on this. I don't want to get it wrong.
For TikTok, I would say, yes, many different age groups are using it, but I would say the majority of users are younger. So like 13 to 25, I would say. And then Pinterest, it just matters who you're trying to target, but I would say anywhere from 18 to 45 and up. Mark?
Yeah, Pinterest is going to skew a little bit more to female demographic. It's going to be, like you said, it's going to be the 20 to 45. But we found some real success with Pinterest with some other clients that really skew to an older demographic. With a little bit more expendable income. Pinterest tends to have a little bit more approach there. The people that have that free time to look at remodeling their bathrooms, or they're looking at ideas for, making a dish for Thanksgiving. It tends to skew more female. I use it sometimes for infographics for marketing and things like that, but it is a hodgepodge. I mean, you can find anything you're looking for on Pinterest. TikTok is so new. It's all over the board for me. I would want to put a dart into the demographic for TikTok because I think you can reach anybody.
All right. We've got just a couple more questions here. So let me, what is the best day and time to post on LinkedIn?
That's Monday at lunchtime. Jillian, you know that better than I do. I know that anytime around lunch is good. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. I feel like there have been so many studies that have showed the best times to post, but things are changing because of the pandemic. A lot of people aren't not on their phones during the work hours. So we're seeing different results from that. But also I would say if it's a good post, it doesn't matter what time you post it. It's gonna perform well if people are resonating with it. And if you don't know where to start, I would just start by generally posting at like 9 a.m. and then like 3 to 4 and just look at your insights and see when your audience is online.
Let me throw something out at you real quick on that. Jillian, you're absolutely right. LinkedIn has a longer shelf life. I will tell you, I'll put up a post, like you can't be last minute with LinkedIn. That's the one thing I'll tell you about posting. If like I was last minute with this event on LinkedIn and it didn't get the momentum, I've had posts that I put up and on day 5, it takes off. People start to like it. LinkedIn recognizes that people like it and they start showing it organically to folks. But so give yourself some lead time with LinkedIn if that's what you're looking to do. The cool thing, and Jillian's right, I post sometimes at 11 o'clock at night. It doesn't really matter. It just whether or not somebody finds it, likes it, then it shows it to their friends. Then one of their friends likes it, it shows it to their friends. But it's, again, give thought leadership and give some business advice.
All right. Our press release is Gone with the Dinosaurs.
Well, I just did one. We just did one for one of our clients, and it got picked up by 84 outlets, and that gave us, over 250 hits to our website. And so I'm not, for the price, I still like it.
In fact, it's funny that you said that. I was listening. I was waiting to hear what you were going to say, because we actually sent out a press release on some of the things that we're doing for business. And Fox 10 called and said, "Hey, Terry, you sent this press release out. Can I pick your brain on this? We'd love to do a story." And they may not use it right away, depending on the relevancy of it, but they're always looking for slow news stories. And especially now that the elections are over, they are looking for content.
We have a cardiovascular surgeon that is going to be on PBS Horizon, and it all landed because of a slow press release that we did recently. We thought it was a dead one, but it trickled in, so it was great.
All right. What suggestions do you have for a company providing services to facility managers / property managers to increase brand awareness on social media?
Advertise on realtor.com and Zillow.
Okay. Final question, because then we have another speaker, and you guys have been great. You always give us such great information. Is there a single analytics tool that gives an overview on multiple social media platforms, or the best tips on monitoring social performance?
Well, there are some out there that you can pay for that are like $50, $70 a month. Jillian's a better expert at those than I am. I love Google Analytics because I can see the actual traction of what's driving people to my website, for that matter. But as it relates to engagement, the platforms themselves are usually the best There's Hootsuite and some other ones like that. But Jillian, what have you found that you like the best?
Yeah, there's this one that does it all automatically for you. It's pretty expensive though. I cannot remember the name of it. If you message me after on Facebook, I'll let you know what it is. But a way to do it for free is just create it on Google Sheets and just continually track your insights on there.
Great. You guys are always a fountain of knowledge. And I know that you are back with us every single month. So I really appreciate that. So please stay on, because we want to jump back to Paula, because we want to be able to help businesses put money in their pockets and how to still access that. And so while we're waiting for Paula to come back on and pull up her presentation, I want to give you a sneak peek. Next Thursday, we will not be meeting because it will be the holiday, but on December 3rd, we actually have what 2021 brand leaders are doing right now. And we've got an expert, Park Howell, who's going to be talking the business of stories. And so you want to tune in and hear what's going on with that. So let's go ahead and turn it on over to Paula.
All right, thanks, Terry. And I like, Mark, I think it was you that said, at this time, we all just kind of need to join hands together to support our businesses. And just note all the businesses out there, you don't have to navigate this alone. There's so many resources and businesses that want to help. So, and thank you again, Terry, for always inviting us to present. So today, just a quick update on the disaster loan programs. We're coming up to the end of the year, and just to overview for all of you the SBDC services and how we're helping our small businesses at this time. So let me just move forward. So just very quickly, the PPP loan forgiveness process, it's underway. A couple of reminders for those who have these loans. Make sure you're reaching out to your lender, the one you had received the loan from. Contact them when you're ready for forgiveness. Some of them have started that process. We hear that some not necessarily have. But I think the important thing you can do right now really is to gather the documentation, review the application form appropriate to you and your business and the amount of funding that you received. And you'll see there on the right-hand side, you can go to the Department of Treasury and find those documents very easily. So prepare for that, gather the documentation. And just a couple of reminders, once you start through that process, it's through the lender. You'll fill out your documentation. They submit it to the SBA for review. The SBA reviews it and then notifies the lender, who then notifies you of the final determination on the forgiveness. So that's just very quickly an overview of that process. So stay in touch with your lender. And also just, there have been some of our clients have questions around taxes and forgiveness and what this all means. Here again, just be sure to, contact your tax professional. There are some gray areas around this, so you'll want to make sure and have those experts available to answer those questions for you. If you're still in need of funds, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program is still open through December 31st. So that's through SBA.gov. If you still need funds and you've not yet applied for the EIDL loan, that is still available. So just a few weeks left on that. Of course, we're all waiting to hear, if Congress will pass any additional funds for our small businesses. The SBDC has been helping our clients through this process. And, if that does happen, we are going to be a resource for you to navigate any of these new programs coming out. A quick note on fraud. You may have been hearing kind of in the news some issues around fraud related to some of these disaster loans. So if you're experiencing that, I would encourage you to keep an eye on your bank statements and make sure everything looks correct. Review them on a regular basis. If you notice anything that looks out of place, maybe emails or in those statements, and you think it might be fraud related to these loans, contact the SBA Office of Disaster Assistance. And that's before if the funds have not yet been dispersed. If they've already been dispersed, then the second number there is for the SBA Office of Inspector General. So just keep an eye on that and just know there are some contact numbers to make those notifications if you're hopefully not falling into that. But if you are, those are the contact numbers for you. Now, just a quick overview of SBDC services. We are what we offer is no-fee counseling. We're the Small Business Development Center, part of a national network and part of the Arizona network here. And we are helping our clients right now, of course, navigate these disaster loan programs. We're helping them as those monies run out, or they're just making plans to pivot and look for next steps and sustain the business and grow the business. Getting lender ready, we help kind of connect our clients with those lenders that are a good fit for their business, their industry, the amount they need, how they're going to use those funds. A lot of our businesses have experienced just going through applying for these loans and grants, realizing that maybe their financials and their financial toolkit really isn't in very good order. So we can sit down with you and help just do some preliminary financial review and see how resilient you are, and look for opportunities to find some cash that might actually already exist in that business just by making some changes. We're also providing marketing assessment and planning. We have experts in the other areas you see on the screen here, buying and selling a business. We have an expert in manufacturing, technology commercialization, export international trade, and government contracting. Just some of the areas that we help. So I would encourage you to reach out to us. We're a zero budget line item. It really is no-fee counseling, and we work with clients over many years. So it's not just a one-time assist. And we can do that because we're funded by Maricopa Community Colleges, the Small Business Administration, and our partnership with the Arizona Corporation, the Arizona Commerce Authority. Just a couple of tips, some things to think about as we're heading into next year. Make sure, again, you're looking at those finances and looking at what your funding strategy is. Look at the state of your financial toolkit and just checking in to see, are you in need of funds, and what's that strategy going to be? And putting that foundation in place, it's really critical, because the financial toolkit provides that data that you need to make these business decisions. Marketing, this is all about marketing. So great tips today on marketing. Do you have that plan in place? Have you looked at your customer segments? Do you know what platforms you need to be on? And what kind of content are you putting out there to increase that brand awareness? And then just keep in mind your staffing. How are you caring for your staff during this difficult time? Looking at ways to support them in a positive way. And it's probably a good time to just kind of take stock of your company culture and see, what changes can you make for the better as far as you build that business and grow your staff and your company. Just very quickly, if you're a client of the SBDC, we have some great resources available to you as a client. We have our Growth Wheel Business Development Toolkit. We give access to Live Plan, which is a business planning platform. And so that's available to our clients if you need a business plan. We have financial benchmarking data through ProfitSense, and we can use that to see how your business is doing compared to those in your industry. We have some marketing research tools through our sbdcnet.org. They do some marketing research, as well as access to IBIS Industry World Report. So again, another resource for you, and there is no fee, and it's part of our counseling. So if you're interested in our counseling, we'd love to see you. It's very easy. Just go to maricopa-sbdc.com and fill out a request for counseling, put you in the system, and we'll assign you to a lead counselor, and we'll sit down and just learn about your business, talk about your challenges, and see what some of the gaps are for you and how the SBDC might be able to fill some of those gaps to help you moving forward, not just navigating, sustaining through COVID, but really laying in the plans for growth and for your future success. So we'd love to see you. And here again is my contact information and that link for requesting counseling. And once again, thank you, Terry, so much for your support.
Absolutely. You always keep us informed on the ever-changing landscape on, the government paperwork that's required for some of these loans. I do want to do a shout out. If you are a business here in the city of Chandler, the city of Chandler is giving out free PPE kits. And what this includes is a freestanding hand sanitizing station, along with a gallon of sanitizer and 100 masks. So there is a form on our website. Just fill it out. You have to have a business tax ID number, but this is a free kit, and we are handing these out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Next week, it'll be a little bit changed because of the holiday season, But please, this is from CARES Act money that the city of Chandler has really chosen to give back to our community and back to the business community. So these are free. So just fill out that form and apply. And I just want to do a huge shout out to our presenters, not only the SBDC, who is walking hand in hand with us to help our businesses through these times, but also to Mark and Jillian with Concept to Completion. Keep those ideas coming, and the more we can educate businesses on how to interact on social media and really take their business to the next level is all for the benefit of Chandler. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today, and we will be back. Next week is the holiday, so enjoy your time with your loved ones. Stay safe, and we will see you back on December 3rd with what 2021 brand leaders are doing right now. So thanks again for joining us, and we will be back in touch. Bye-bye.